welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Happy Sunday and happy Mother's Day. I got a real quick, fast inkling to do a card reading. I don't know where this came from. It was not slated at all, but I was pulling cards for myself this morning, and I just had such a good time that I thought, let me go ahead and do a special card reading. Why not, right? And I haven't figured out how to do like a live stream, which I might do in the future, but I decided to go ahead and just do a quick Mother's Day themed card reading. So we're going to make this real quick, real impromptu, real on the fly, and so I just got the inkling to do it. I got all excited about it, and what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 oracle decks, and we're going to go ahead and ask the question, what does he or she, or what do they tell their mother about you? So it is a little bit of a relationship read. We haven't had one of those in a while, and so yes, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to ask a quick question, and we'll make it real fast. We'll go ahead and see, what does he or she tell their mother about you? So, and Mom hears all, right? She's the one who we turn to usually. You can also switch the genders if it is a situation, it can be, what they tell their parents, or someone who's like a mother, their closest feminine, matriarch. So it could be a grandmother, But I went ahead and I chose 5 different placeholders. I went to my charms dish. The first one is such a sweet one. It's a little owl. It's a silver owl with a little baby owl. So maybe your mom is real wise, or you just trust her judgment. But that's a little bracelet charm. The second charm, the second pile, is a cameo. It's like a cameo. So maybe your mom is real ladylike, or you just see her in this as the epitome of femininity and graciousness. The third one we got is one of my favorites. This is such a cute little charm. It's a little flower pot. It's all pink. And I wore my ring today. I wore my flower ring, if you can see it. So in honor of the day, my hands are all beat up, but I have a pretty ring on, so that makes all the difference. The last one, the fourth one, we got the teapot. Oh, this is such a cute one. And again, Mom gets all the tea, right? Mom knows the tea. Maybe your mom likes tea, or you have tea with her, or you just have the tea time talks. Maybe she's from England, or you have maybe she likes England or the UK. And then the last one, we got the Flamingo. I love this one. And actually, if your mom lives in Florida, or if maybe she has a plastic flamingo on her front lawn, who knows? But those are going to be the 5 placeholders. I'm going to shuffle as we pull, so it's going to be live. Please go ahead, and I'll give you a minute to pick your charm, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. So let's go ahead and we'll move our charms up, or to the side here. Here, actually, let me put them over here. I put 2 wooden blocks there that in case we have any cards that we want to display. I'm really loving those little placeholders. So, pile number 1, and again, we're gonna make this a quick read. You got the little silver mom and baby owl. I'm sorry, I've had coffee, so my hands are a little shaky, but all right. So, my owl people, does he or she tell their mother, or the feminine that they trust? What do they say about you? Let's find out. Okay, owl people, what did they tell her? All right, and let's go ahead. The first deck is the Archetype cards by Myss. The second is, it's actually in the description box below. I'm sorry, all the names and authors are in the description box below. And the last deck, which I have not used in a while, and I love this deck. Oh, wow. Oh, I'm getting good energy from this, guys. I know it's going to be a good read, but... Oh, wow. Oh. Oh, okay. Well, first off, they tell their parent, he or she tells their parent that you are attractive. Like, they just, you see, if it's a man, he wants to swoop you up. He wants to dance with you. And if it's a woman asking their parent, then they feel swept up by you. Like they just feel like you have this seductive quality about you, like you're just magnetic, and you just imbued romance. Like when they get around you, this is how it is. Like there's no there's no gray, right? There's just, when they're with you, they feel like you are just absolutely, you know, romance. They just feel seduction and love. They feel love for you. The other thing that they see is that you have this magnetic, but you're very innocent about it. You're almost like energetic. Have you ever, I always call it the Zoom. I've said in other readings, my best friend and I in high school, we coined the term Zoom, which was, you ever fall in love for the first time, when you're a teenager, and you just feel like you're free falling, like everything is so freaking exciting, right? You just feel like, that's when they say falling in love, and that's how this person feels. That's how they're describing it. It's like when they get around you, they can't hold themselves back. They have to scoop you up. They have to, whisper sweet nothings to you, right? And so, but I always said that, the Zoom was, as you get older, after you've been through a few mature relationships, you try to tone down the Zoom, right? You try not to fall too hard, because that sometimes, you can hit the ground. But that's how they feel about you. Now, the other thing is that, and the fact that we have the card put others first, and you see the guy who's kind of directing the seal with the ball, right? What's really striking me is that both of these persons have a suit on. So I really get the suit. I'm kind of reading it in a little bit of a responsibility context, just because business people do have to put on suits for work. So I'm always getting the feeling like they feel like they're telling their parent that they have to kind of keep their distance, because the moment they get in proximity around you, they just feel magnetized to you, and that they probably really have to put others first right now. Like, I'm almost getting a feeling like, that they almost don't have the energy to devote to this right now. The other thing that I'm kind of getting, and I know this sounds crazy, but you see how this woman kind of has, you look at her hair, and there in the background of the ringmaster, there's somebody who's on the trapeze. And have you ever seen the movie The Greatest Showman? Again, yeah, Zac Efron and Zendaya. I'm kind of getting that kind of attraction. Like, it's like, again, the moment you get around each other, it's just like magnets. It's like, and there is, again, the other thing is I'm seeing music. Like, I think they tell their parent that they really, that they hear or think about you to music, or they hear songs or song lyrics remind them of you. But here again, the ringleader and the trapeze artist are not together. She's off doing her thing, right? Being dynamic. And then he's over here, trying to support the rest of the three-ring circus, right? So I think he's kind of telling them that he's kind of busy right now. Now, the other thing is that under Child Divine, which is all that energy that we saw, remember how we said it's all exciting? Underneath it, you got Take a Breather. They got Take a Breather. So I think what it is that I do think that and you see how all the colors are very similar. They're like tans and oranges. I think they really need to take a break. I think they're saying that they feel this attraction to you. It's a lot of energy when you get around each other. It's almost a little exhausting. And, and the fact that they're taking care of other people right now. And again, I am getting a work vibe. Maybe they have to prioritize other things right now. And they also know that, so I really get the feeling like they might be staying away from you on purpose. But they need to take a breath. They need to take a break. They can't, this energy has to go to other things right now. And so they're probably telling their mom that, like, okay, I need to, I need some downtime because I have other priorities, but I am very, very attracted to this person and they make me feel really excited. And then the last card that you got is you got Breakthrough. And Breakthrough is that I sort of limitless love. And again, it's that, look at him. He looks like he's busting through a wall. I kind of think of the Kool-Aid Man, right? There is a breakthrough here, but I'm getting the feeling like, I think because it looks like they're headed towards the sun, they're headed towards the sun. I think, again, that they're working on other things right now and they're looking forward to possibly, coming around you again. It's just they know that it's going to be that kind of magnetic attraction. And right now they have to prioritize other things. But they're looking forward to, I think, both a breakthrough with both work. And then once everything is settled, once they've taken a breather, that they can, put more of this energy into this. But yeah, guys, that's what they tell. That's what little owl tells their mama owl about you. That's really cool. Here, I'm going to go ahead and put our cards over here for just a second so we have space to put our piles at the top. Wow, I really like that, though. That's such a cool read. All right, so let's go ahead. And our second charm, we got the Cameo. And we'll go ahead and let's see the Cameo people. And again, this just strikes me as such it's such a Victorian thing, and it's very ladylike, maybe very traditional. All right, so let's go ahead. What is, wow, gosh, guys, wow, I'm getting a story right off the cuff with this one. And then let's go ahead and see what do they tell their mom about you? Okay. There is one other card that's trying to pop out, and I'm making note of it, but okay. Thank you. Wow. Oh, that's cool. Just for the record, the card that wanted to pop out was Give It to God. And I think because this one was behind this one, so I am going to go ahead and read those together, because that's kind of how it wanted to come out. The Keep Dancing also wanted to come out, but we'll shuffle that back. All right, so let's go ahead. All right, so pile number 2, what they tell their mom about you. What they're saying is, first off, I really think that you're some type of writer. Maybe it can be more in of a creative sense, like maybe you write for, I know it's antiquated, but maybe you write for a blog, or, you have some kind of social media post. Maybe you you have a TikTok channel or Instagram, but basically you got storyteller. Is the ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. And I love that, stories and symbols. And then you also got poet. Expresses soul insights in symbolic language. You got 2 things that talk about symbolic language. So, honestly, guys, that can be anything. That can be a photographer. Because if you're telling a story in symbolic language, I mean, you can be an artist, you can be a painter, you could sew things. I really do kind of get an artistic vibe from this, but it is kind of saying that it is I'm getting a vibe of more speaking. So maybe you're a motivational speaker, maybe you're some kind of consultant. I do get the feeling like you do have some kind of writing that you do, but the fact that you see this person, and again it says symbolic language. I think somehow you convey really important life meaning in some kind of artistic pursuit. And again, and I'm sorry to have that be so broad. It is broad. I mean, you can have an Instagram account, and you know how they say a picture speaks 1,000 words. Maybe you really reach people with what you post. I have a really good friend on YouTube, who she'll post one picture, and then she'll write this entire, it's like 3 paragraphs, but she writes like almost like a very brief blog post. It's like a 3-minute read, and she's always very encouraging, and she's very moving. And so I do think that you do something like that. There's some way that you convey information through stories or through poetry. And what I also get from this, and to have the writer hat on for a minute, there's so many things in life. In writing, we always say, show, don't tell. Right? Because if you tell someone, oh, well, this is the message I'm trying to get across. No one, and it isn't in a bad way. It's just no one accepts things that way. If you just tell someone, well, you need to do it this way, someone will be like, yeah, okay. But when you think of literature, when you think of stories, you can even watch adventure movies. Like I did an Avengers marathon the other day, and it was great. I usually only watch the first movie of every comic book thing, and I watched the entire series. And what's beautiful about storytelling is that you can convey something by showing. And I really get that from this. The way that you see the doves coming out of her mouth, she's not using words. And if you are using words, you're describing a scene that's going to move someone. I also think of the movie The Sixth Sense. Have you ever watched that? And again, there's a twist at the end. And what it is that movie completely plays on the human mind's ability to see a scene. Like when you see Bruce Willis sitting in the same room as his mom, they're not talking when the kid walks in, you immediately assume, oh, they stopped talking because he came in the room. Well, when you get to the end, not to spoil it, but when you get to the end, it's because they were never talking at all, but your human brain assumed what was going on, right? And I think that's what you do. I think you have the very, and he or she describes this to their mother. They have this really great, they're saying that you have the ability to show, not tell, and you motivate people by, showing them a scene and then letting the viewer make their own interpretation of it, right? Just like The Sixth Sense, right? You decide what happened there, right? You come to your own conclusions, but you're very motivating. The fact you got storyteller and poet, and you could very well write. It might be, maybe you write novels, maybe you write stories. That's awesome, guys. Now, here we have Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And you see how you have a big bear and a little mouse? And it's cute. In Lenormand, the mouse means, it is worrying about small stuff. In Lenormand, the mouse means squirreling away. Something that's kind of getting in your cabinets and slowly deteriorating your bread supply, right? And what it typically means is that, I think what it is that maybe maybe you are stressing the small things right now. Maybe you have something going on in your life. And again, with world events, maybe you have a lot on your mind. You have a lot to worry about. But what it's saying is that you have a lot of strength. That's the other thing, is that bear is strength, right? And mouse is little things. But I do see that they think that you have some anxiety right now. And they do think that it's, based on small things. So they are kind of saying that, you know, you need to stress less, right? They're hoping that you stress less, and they're telling that to their mother. Okay, you know, she's got, you know, he or she, they have all this talent. They're so, you know, gifted, and here they are. They worry about these little things, and the little things really pull them down. You know, it dims you, right? So the other thing that they say is they say give it to God, and I love this card. I love this card. You see a cluster of balloons being released. And what it is that they do think that you should let it go. The other thing that I'm noticing is that you see how the doves are flying away and the balloons are flying away. I think they do. They do want you to just kind of, you know, kind of let go of the anxiety. It is also keep dancing, and I think keep dancing is great. I think it just kind of means that do you continue to do that dynamic thing that you do, you know, and honestly, that might be an outlet. Goodness knows, in this time where everything is uncertain, to have a creative outlet that gets you out of your head, gets you away from that anxiety. I think that's really important for your psychological health, so you don't get weighed down with all of the worry, right? And what I thought was beautiful is that this came out right next to the keep dancing and the give it to God, and it's faith. And isn't that beautiful? It's the same colors too. And you see the person's leaping out and grabbing the bar. It's like an acrobat. You know, I do think that they want you. It's like they're saying, you know, they just keep flexible. This will pass. You know, and you did also get believe. And I think the believe is beautiful because all the burgundy in the flower is matching the burgundy in poet. If anything, I do think it is they're telling their mom or that if you take this experience, even though you feel pressured and anxiety ridden, if you take this experience and write about it, maybe convey it in those symbols that you're so good at, that it would not only be a release for you, but it would keep your optimism up, where you can have faith that things will get better. And it's definitely saying that this person thinks that everything's going to get much, much better for you. And I think it will, with the give it to God and the faith and the believe. I really think that I think the universe is coming in a little bit on this too, is that they're saying that things are about to get real better. Just hang in there and try not to let that little, wiggle of worry get too far into your head. All right, guys, so that's a really beautiful read. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the keep dancing back into the pile just because I think it was trying to go for another card. I don't normally do that. So we'll go ahead. Okay. So let's keep on going. So we got our little flower pot. So the third charm is our flower pot. I really do like this charm. I don't think it's come out too often in my charms read, but which we are going to do more of. All right, so flower pot people, what do they tell their mom about you? Oh, wow. And flower pot people. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Let's go ahead and let's get flower pot people. So two. That's two. Oh gosh. Freedom. Oh wow, this is a really cool read, guys. Okay, and this is very straightforward. We got the right number of cards, okay? So this is very clear. So he or she tells their mom that first off, you got goddess. And I really do. I love this card. The feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. So I really do kind of I get a real Earth Mother kind of feel from this. I think this person views you as being real connected, like you're in the flow of life, and you're very feminine about it, like you're receptive. This is a very yin energy where, you are that type of woman, and I'm not even sure if you're a mother yourself. But what I'm kind of feeling is that you imbue all of the energy of a real feminine woman. And, you're wise, you know your value, you're connected to nature, and you have a vitality. It's almost like, again, I think of like a circuit, like when you put, when you know who you are, and you put that energy out into the world, and then the world in its way returns in kind, it becomes this kind of circle. And it does, the sensuality part just means that, again, you know your own desires, what you're passionate about, and you have no shame. You kind of throw your head back like, yeah, this is what I love. This is what I love. And she has little hearts all over her dress. And she's not haughty about it. I think that's also what makes her so beautiful. Is, the title is goddess, which, in Greek mythology and Latin mythology would be someone to be praised. Aside from other religions. But you look at it, and she's not dressed in like the robes of a queen, right? There's another card in here that's queen, and definitely she's the ruler of all. But the goddess, really, she's dressed simply. And again, I just think this person thinks the world of you. They really think that you are just, what you are. You're an earth goddess. Like, you are just this. I'm thinking almost like I'm thinking kind of the Nine of Pentacles, honestly, that really attractive woman who's walking through her garden, because that's a very earthy thing too. She's, I do also hear the song in my head, the Destiny Child song, Independent Woman. Like, the rings on your hand, you've bought them. The car in your driveway, you've bought it. You know what you like, you know what you don't. You make no excuses. And this person thinks that's damn sexy. and they also just, again, you're very wise. And the other thing is you're connected to nature. I think there's something, I'm also getting a vibe that there's something intrinsically beautiful about you, like just very natural. And I know that sounds kind of weird. I don't think you're very done up. I think that you're beautiful in kind of a natural way. I am getting a sense that you could probably go a day without makeup, and they think you're just as gorgeous if you were all done up. So I'm definitely getting that vibe. But I also think that they find you incredibly, like, all of that energy, all of that self-confidence and natural allure makes you very, very sexy. And they're very, very, they just do. They think they want to praise you. But they are, probably minus all of the gory, and minus all of the real, amorous details. They're probably telling your mom that she's just the bomb, right? And then I see that you also got Samaritan, and I think this is such a beautiful card. And it refines your capacity to help those that you would prefer to ignore. And so, what that tells me is that you're a good person. You're just a good person. And again, remember I talked about that natural kind of, you're not afraid. There's no stigma to you when you care about a cause, right? Like, you might volunteer for a homeless shelter, or you might do things to help those in need. You might dedicate your time. But what it is that the other thing is that this is really beautiful, because it's probably why you're not coming out as that queen. The queen can be a little bit above her. When a queen is a beautiful energy, it's strong, but sometimes they won't come off their throne for anything. The goddess is more down to earth. You see her kneeling on the ground, right? But her head is held high. So I just think that she's dedicated to the causes that she cares about. She's not afraid to be hands-on with the things in her life. And you serve others. You probably serve others in a way that's might be considered a little bit taboo, but this person absolutely loves the way that you take care of others, and it just makes you all the more, goddess-like. Now, what they're telling them is, you got fill the well. So the thing that I get with this, and the fact that the colors in this card are kind of like a transition, it's kind of, it's the orange is a little bit darker than the orange in the Samaritan. But what that's kind of telling me is that maybe you do kind of burn the candle at both ends with your good works. And so they do kind of tell you, I think they get concerned that you might, that you might not dedicate enough time to your own well-being. And they might be telling their mom, okay, she needs to take a little bit more time for herself. She's dynamic and amazing, but she's filling everybody else's bucket, but not her own. The other thing is that under Samaritan, you got be patient. And it is just kind of saying that the situation requires that you wait. So I do think that this person is probably waiting for you. Maybe you have some kind of goals in your life. Maybe you're in college or in school and you're doing projects that you need to complete. But it's almost like this person's telling their mom that they want to wait for you, or they have to wait for you, or they have to be patient for you because you are a little bit exhausted. You're a dynamic, incredible person, and that, but you need to take care of yourself, and you need to kind of maybe even par down on some of your projects, so that it's almost like they're waiting for you to go down the slide, so to speak. They don't want to pressure you they really like you. But this might be a kind of a secret admirer, honestly, because I feel like they know you really well. Like they're close enough to know that you kind of need more self-care. But they definitely they're waiting. They're not pressuring you for any type of relationship, and they're probably conveying that to their mom. They might be conveying it to their mom today, because something about the flowers. You know how you bring your mom flowers on Mother's Day. Now, the other thing is that you got freedom. So the thing I totally get from this is that they think that you are a free spirit. They think you're a free spirit. And honestly, you see a lot of the blues and greens in the background of the goddess. Yeah, they just think you could very well be Sagittarian. And again, but they think you're a free spirit, right? They think you're a free spirit. They definitely, and the other thing is that sometimes with the horse, that's another thing, is that when you're let out in the pasture, you run and run until you're exhausted, right? So there might be a little bit of that going on, but they definitely know that your freedom is part of your mystique. It's part of your personality. That's what makes you so beautiful. So they don't hinder that. They're very patient with you, and they give you a wide berth, right? They give you space to run. But they do know that you do have that elusiveness about you too. But all right, guys, so that is what they are telling their mom about you. That is a really cool deck. That's a cool pile. I'm going to move these over a little bit just so we have a little bit more space. All right, let's keep on going. The next one, we got the teapot. I love this. So we got the teapot. So let's go ahead and see. What's the tea? What's the tea? What is the teapot people telling their mom about you? Wow, that came out. All right, let's go ahead and just see. It was night on top, but okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the knight kind of behind it, but I'll make note of it. If the themes show up in the read, I'll pull the card again. But okay, so teapot people. Okay. Here we'll go with the one on top. Okay, and last card. Can we see okay? So keep the focus. We got some beautiful natural light today. Okay, wow guys, I'm definitely getting a theme here. That's cool. All right, so Teapot people, what do they tell their mom about you? First off, you got the knight, and this one is loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor, right? And I do always think of the Knight of Cups with this card because he has a shield that has a heart on it, and you just look at him, and the look on the horse's face. It's almost like the rider and the horse are both on the same mission, right? And then the second card you got is, I believe it's a French word. It's a dilettante, dilettante, and it's delights in the arts without having to be a professional, alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. And you see this person, she's doing like 20 things. She's painting, she's planting, she's cooking, she's reading a book. She's got like five, I think she's got 5 arms in this, right? But basically, and again with the knight, and I think of the Knight of Cups, that's the image that's coming through, is I'm definitely getting a jack of all trades and master of none. If you've ever heard of that phrase, it just means that you like to dabble. You like to dabble in things, and you have a great energy when you dabble. And that's, you know what, that's a beautiful thing. That really is a beautiful thing because, it's funny, there's so many people who don't know what they like to do, right? There's so many people in the world who are like, well, I don't have any hobbies, or I don't know what I like to do. And the solution to that is really, I know it sounds silly, but if you just you can go to Wikipedia, or you can go to any website and say, okay, show me a list of hobbies. You could borrow a book from the library about that does, what do you call it, when you take that test to see what your strengths are before you apply for a college major. It's not, it's a majors test. It's not a Myers-Briggs. You could do that too if you want, but it's similar to a Myers-Briggs. But what it does is it kind of narrowed down what your what your skill set is, and it gives you a list of, it'll ask you questions like what hobbies would you be interested in trying, and all you need is the list, right? You just go down the list and kind of make a little bullet point of things that you might want to try. But here I really see that they're telling your mom that you love to do that. Like that's like your thing, is that and the fact that it's a knight and not a king or a queen. The knights go on missions, right? But then the Knight of Cups is a little bit, in tarot, he gets a little bit of a reputation of having his heart on his sleeve. He can be a little bit emotionally fickle, not in a bad way, but what happens is you see he'll start charging towards something that he feels all impassioned about. And again, he charges ahead with his heart, like, oh, that's what I want to do, right? But then after he's done it for a while, and possibly this is why he gets a reputation, sometimes it can be relationships. Sometimes he'll jump into a relationship because the new person is new and shiny, and bringing him, he's around someone who's showing him a new personality. And and when you interact with a new personality, it's exciting, right? But then when the honeymoon is over and the honeymoon period wears off about 1 to 3 months in, all of a sudden it's like, well, this was exciting at first, now I know it a little bit. But you also see that the expression on his face is that he's kind of, it looks like he was headed one direction and now his head is kind of turned, like he's looking now another direction, like he's looking like he was headed this way and now all of a sudden, oh, look, there's a squirrel. So the good and the bad of it is that, again, when you try new things, that's a beautiful thing, because we get one life, right? Why not learn how to do a lot of things? That's what life is about, right? But the thing about, again, it's, they call it being the jack of all trades, but the master of none. It means that when you dabble, you kind of scratch the surface. You start learning how to do something, but then you abandon it when it's no longer entertaining or once you get over it. So this person is kind of telling their mom that you kind of have that attitude, right? Now, it can also be in a hobby sense, like, and I'm putting my hand up because I'm totally guilty of this. Maybe you get all excited about one type of hobby, hobby. I like to think of it like binge watching on Netflix. You find a new favorite show, right? And all of a sudden you watch every episode and you get the poster, you paint your room, you get the bed sheets, and then, there's kind of this zoom about it. But once you get to learn all about it, eventually, it becomes not your favorite anymore. It's kind of like being a child. And again, the night energy is a little bit like that. It's kind of an early 20s energy. It's not a fully mature energy. But you're not a child here. You're not a page. You're kind of that, you've got a lot of energy too. So that is beautiful. But the thing is that maybe you buy, and I'll use myself as an example. I bought I had 2 years where I was really into card making, and all of a sudden I'm buying all the stamps, I'm buying all the dies, I'm buying all the inks, and and it's a great hobby. It was a beneficial thing. It really, I was going through some tough years, and it really helped me out. It helped me do something creative. So I don't regret it. But here it's almost as if, for 3 months you're into card making, you buy all the supplies, and then you never use them again. And then the next 3 months, oh, well, I'm into skateboarding. So you buy all the equipment and then it's stored up. So what they're kind of telling their mom is that you are very passionate. When you're into something, but you do change it up often. It seems like you don't stick with something for the long run. And that can be relationships too. But here I'm almost getting more of a hobby sense. The other thing is that this could be a marriage. Again, this might be, or it can be a child, that you could be telling your mother, you could be on the younger side, and the person that you're asking about is telling their mother or your grandmother about, this is what they're telling them about. But I do think that it isn't that they don't love your passion for things. It just does. I am getting kind of a vibe like you change it up quite often, or you end up, you have so much going on that it's creating a lot of surplus. And the other thing is that it can sometimes get a little overwhelming. Where, this person might think, okay, they've got a garage full of, planting supplies. We have a closet full of yarn. We have a sewing machine that we don't use. They might be kind of just saying that they admire your livelihood, that you get a lot out of life, but you might start projects and not finish them, or you might collect things and not sell them again. So here they're just kind of saying that they love that energy because you are full of life, but it might be too much, and it might result in excess. The other thing that's kind of a solution for that is that if you really are over a hobby, maybe you can start selling those things, that you're not using anymore. Kind of make it, but I'm definitely getting the Knight energy where, again, Knight of Cups, you're really excited about things. And again, that's not a bad thing. I mean, goodness knows, there are plenty of people who have no idea what hobbies they are, and hobbies enrich your life, right? They make your life meaningful, which is the purpose of life. Now, underneath Knight, they got tell the truth. And you see this person has got her hands folded, and she's got like a pen and paper in front of her. And the thing is, the paper's blank, right? So I think what's happening is that I think they're telling their parent that they really want to talk to you about this. They really want to kind of say, look, can you slow down, or they want to be delicate about it. They don't want to hurt your feelings, but they, and mom gets all the tea, right? Mom hears the tea, you spill the tea with mom. So, or their matriarchal support system. So they're kind of saying, look, I want to talk to them about this. I want to just kind of say, look, can we either slow down, or, can we limit it to just 2 hobbies at a time? And again, if we have too much, excess supplies, can the supplies go if you know that you're over that hobby? Because I do think they want to support, they really do want to support your enthusiasm. They don't want to damper your enthusiasm, because again, that's the purpose of life. But it is, the other thing is that they think that you might be getting a little overwhelmed with it, because the other thing that you got is you got invest in spirit. And you see this tree and it's all pink. I think what they're telling you is that, this might be fragmenting you a little bit, not in a bad way, but you ever notice how the other thing that I'm really getting is that when you look underneath the dilettante's feet, it looks like pink flowers. And in the painting, it looks like a pink flower. And in the flower pot, there's a pink flower. And look at this tree. This tree is blooming pink, right? You know what I'm getting, and I'm gonna come out and say it. Sometimes when you try hobbies, it's kind of like a frantic search for happiness, like you're trying to be happy, and oh my god, I have been there. There's a really beautiful card in another deck that talks about this, about you feel listless, you feel restless, and so what you do is you do things to fill your time. You do things to fill your time, and it's almost like you're trying to plug a hole, right? You're doing things to plug a hole. You're trying to find that pink plant, right? You bought the carpet, you painted the picture, you planted a pink plant, but the pink plant is a tree, and the tree is your spiritual growth. The tree might be something that is not a part of anything in the outside world. This might be kind of all of this outside expression of energy might be trying to compensate for something inside that you want to grow and plant. So, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. That's how we discover ourselves. That's how, I really do believe that's how the universe seasons you. It's how the universe cultivates you, is by you doing things. Because when you do things and take up hobbies, it gets you out in the world. I mean, not right now with social distancing, but it gets you out in the world, and it gets you meeting other people and having other experiences. But I do think that I am getting a vibe from that, is that they think that you might be kind of restless. You're searching for something, and that something is inside of you. But you're planting pink flowers, you're painting pink flowers, you're buying carpet with pink flowers on it, but the pink flower is you. And I think they almost kind of want to say that, but they don't know how to say that. So they're going to their parent and being like, they have all this energy, but they're just fragmented. They're doing this, doing that. And I also think that they just want to find a way to help you. So again, you might be a child, and this might be, but they're going to their parent and kind of saying, I don't know how to help them find this pink tree. They're looking, and they're doing all these things, but they just seem kind of like, not a little fragmented. Now, the card that they got last is she got grace with this dove, and it says, I graciously accept the infinite love of the universe. So again, I really do think the thing that I always think of about with the swan is that they look like they're gliding across the water. They're very graceful, but they're paddling like crazy underneath the surface. And that's what I'm kind of seeing here, is that I'm kind of seeing, like you're paddling like crazy with all of your activities, but underneath the surface, the root of it, you can, I think what they're saying is that they see the potential. And when it says accepting the love of the universe, I also get the feeling as if you don't have to do a million outward things. If you get the internal spiritual planting right, you can put all of that energy into paddling underneath the surface. If you put all that energy towards what's underneath, what's inside, then you'll get this external. I do also think that they're saying that you do all these things, and on the outside you look very composed, but you are exerting. I think that they're afraid that you're overexerting yourself. And it's in search of this kind of spiritual enlightenment. But they do think that you're beautiful. I mean, the other thing is that, the Knight of Cups is a sweet person. They're energetic, and they're bringing a cup of love, and that swan is graceful. But they just don't want you. They don't know how to tell you the truth, that you need to, kind of tone it down and maybe redirect your energy to where it's actually going towards what is the core of what you need. But I hope that made sense, guys. Wow, that was a powerful one. Okay, so let's go ahead and last deck. we've got my flamingo people. Oh, crapioca. Oh, sorry, y'all. As I dropped my poor flamingo, he survived. Okay. He or she survived. We got the flamingo. So again, I think of Florida. If you have any parents or grandparents in Florida, I also think of anybody who has that pink flamingo on their front lawn. So let's go ahead and see, what are they telling their mom about you? What are they telling your mom about you? Oh, wow. Oh. Okay. I'm going to take these all together because I know that's a lot of cards, but it won't take us long. Okay, so let's go ahead and get your... Oh, wow. I know this seems like a crazy amount of cards, but, alright. And then last one. Alright, so let's jump right in. I know it seems like a lot, but we'll get through it. So, first thing that they're telling their mother is that they're telling you you're an advocate. Inspires you to put compassion into action. And I'm definitely seeing this woman wearing kind of very natural colors, and she's looking at a tree. I think that first off, I first think that you're some kind of, I think you're either a good gardener or you're just, I think you care about the environment. I think you might be an environmentalist. And the fact that you're an advocate, I think that, you know, you put compassion, you see the plights of the world, and you want to help, right? You want to take action and help. So I do think that they tell them first and foremost is that you serve others. I'm all over this entire splay. You serve others, right? You put your energy into helping empower others and to stand up for causes that are important to the good of all. And now the second thing that you got is you got beggar. And this is not a bad card. It's confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. And there's the word compassion in both of these cards. So I think what it does is it says that, have you ever seen it where there's so many people who say, okay, well, you know, I'm living on a short budget. I can't afford to take care of anybody else. I just have to take care of myself, right? Because I don't have the resources or the ability to do anything outside of myself. I think you lead by example. This woman doesn't have much. You can see that she's, you know, she's wearing clothes that look like they're mismatched. I'm really getting a feeling like maybe you enjoy going to the thrift store to, you know, repurpose things. I think you like to repurpose things. You know, maybe you take material instead of throwing clothes away, which would be wasteful. Maybe you make new clothes out of it, or you really utilize things to their highest ability. And I think by doing that, you're the example. I think you have a lot of people saying, well, I can't do that. It's easier for me to do this. I just can't. And what you do is you confront empowerment of the level of physical survival, meaning that you say, okay, I make the same amount of money and I'm still able to do this. And it's not in a boisterous way. It awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. So you're saying that, and in a minute we got simplicity, which is, it's you've seen people who are zero waste, or those people who are doing tiny houses, right? And, you know, so many people will say, well, you know, I could never do that. And these people are going out in the world and going, well, yeah, I did do that. And I make the same amount of money as you, and it's completely okay. It's a lot of work, but it's almost like I'm hearing the Gandhi quote, you be the change you wish to see. Like, you are the example. You're the example. And what it is you naturally teach people humility by your example. Like, you're not getting in anyone's face, and saying, oh well, I did this and you didn't. No, you're just saying, like those LEED certified houses that are completely self-efficient. So many people are like, well, it can't be done. You go out and you do it, and then people are like, well, how'd you do that? Well, I did ABCD, and they're like, wow. And it's humility, and it's compassion, and it's self-esteem. I don't think you have a lot, but you make the most of what you have, and that makes you a wonderful advocate, and you're inspirational to other people. Now, underneath the beggar, you've got networker, which is enhances unity through the sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy and compassion, y'all. And then healer, passion to serve others right by repairing the body, mind, and spirit, ability to transform pain into healing. So, gosh, guys, I really get the feeling like, again, you're an advocate because you've been there. You make the same salary. You're in the exact same place as everybody else. And you're showing that you don't have to be a pauper, right? Just because you make that salary, just because you're in that position, you show other people how it can be done. And it helps heal other people. I think I'm really getting a sense of empowerment too, because you see the way that that the hands are kind of radiating, and the this is like a ball of light. I think you really do heal people. You empower people. You say, okay, yes, it can be done. You don't have to be a millionaire to do it, and by sharing your example, it helps people be humble, and it's compassionate. The other thing is that I'm getting a strong energy worker. Like, maybe you heal with your hands. This could be a gardener too, because you can grow life with your hands. But I am getting kind of like a social media vibe from it too. It's like almost like the things that you do when you post it on social media, you inspire other people. And the other thing that I'm kind of getting too is that the other thing about this is that a lot of people are very quiet about their situation. But by you being going out there and saying, networker, by you posting things and saying, look, this is where I'm at, you are showing people your situation, which might kind of make you look like a beggar, not in a bad way, but it makes you look like, you say, okay, this is my living situation. And other people have the same living situation, and they see your post. They may not like your post, might not respond to it, but the very fact that they saw it, they learned something from it, and you are healing. And it's like a hidden healing. Have you ever felt that? Like, sometimes when you post something and you think that you got no response from it, either that or when I post a reading, sometimes it might not get very many views, but if it helps one person, if the messages contain help one person. And the same thing in reverse. I've definitely seen posts where I'm so glad the person put it out there, right? And it was brave of them. They were being an advocate for other people by sharing their experience. And it's inspirational, and it helps heal. It helps heal. So I do think they're telling their mother that you're this type of person. Now, the other thing that you got is right under advocate is you got talk to God and you got create. So I do think that with these two cards, I do think that you keep in touch with your spirituality when you start to feel down, because I don't think that you have the strongest situation. Maybe you have, pressures in your life that really kind of weigh on you. I think you turn to your higher power, be it God or whatever belief that you have. I think you talk to God, and then you express it through your creativity, right? One of the other piles, we talked about how when worry starts to creep in, when you do some kind of creative expression, it really helps exercise that demon. It helps get you out of, because constant worry is hard. It weakens your immune system, and it eats away at you like a mouse, right? And so by talking to God and letting go of those worries, of those fears, of those, the insecurities, and then turning to something that you create. And again, you can plant things, you could, have some kind of creative hobby. But I am definitely getting that it's some kind of upcycling. I really get the feeling like, again, the fact that she's wearing plaid and then paisley. And I also get that you have a real eclectic style that's trendy. And I think they tell their mom that you like, uh, not to sound funny, but when my best friend was in college, there was a trend of wearing plaid pants, and it was before a lot of fast fashion was upon us. And you know what she did? She went digging through a trunk, a cedar chest, and found her grandfather's old plaid golfing pants. And I thought, oh my God, they still smelled like mothballs. And she was just like, okay, I'm going to wear this to school because this is the trend. And I thought, okay, this might risk some censure, but she started a whole new trend. It was like, everybody was wearing plaid, like kind of parachute pants, and you would think that was really not cool, but that's what you do. And it sparked a trend. Everybody was trying to, and no one could find plaid golf pants, so she was standing alone in how cool she was. So I think that's your thing. You make it cool to be eco-friendly, and I think you do things that are outside the norm, and it makes you stand out, but it makes you stand out in a cool way. And I do also think of Pretty in Pink. You know how she recycles, she takes the old prom dress and makes something really cool and unique. I kind of get the feeling that you're that kind of person. So, and I think that it's kind of an expression when you're feeling down and out, you kind of connect to your higher power and you create. You do that thing you do. And it's so cool. And I think this person tells their mom how cool that is and how healing it is, how inspirational. Now, the last card you got You Are Safe. And I really do think that this plays into the Beggar and the Advocate, because first off, it's another very natural card. But what you see is I think it's like a butterfly or a moth, and you see birds flying around as if they're trying to, come down and eat you. Like the bird's going to swoop down and snap you up. I do kind of, and I'll be honest, I think that you might be in. You ever have a living situation where you don't have much, or what you have is what you have, and you gotta get. Sometimes growing or stepping outside of your bubble it makes you fearful, because you are creative and you make the most of what you have, but you're afraid of losing what you have. Either that, or you're afraid of your stability being, kind of swiped away. And but with the talk to God and the You Are Safe, I definitely feel and this is a little bit of universe coming in, and I'm trying to keep the woo woo out of this read. This is what they're telling their mom, right? But I do think that angels are out to help you. You have protection. You have protection, and look how beautiful you are. I mean, seriously, guys. I'm really loving this pile. I think you are and I'm sorry, I'm a nature girl, but whatever you do is so authentic. It's organic and it's authentic and it's cool and it's supportive. And even though you have a lot to lose, you still give to others. You heal others with your experience. You show people your life, even though I do get a sense you're kind of private. You don't show people to showboat. You show people to help. If it doesn't help, then you keep it under wraps. And that's such a beautiful personality. And that's what this person's telling their mom. You're a gorgeous person. You are. And I am also getting a sense that you're very naturally beautiful. I think you have a natural beauty about you. I don't think you wear much makeup. Or if you do, that it's, or I get the feeling that you kind of use soaps and things that don't have a whole lot of chemicals in them. So maybe you use like all natural stuff. But you're beautiful. And behind the You Are Safe, you got Give More and Stick With It. And look at that long tree. It's Jack and the Beanstalk, right? The one thing I always see with the Give More is that, There's in the Animal Oracle deck by Colette Baron-Reid. It's another deck that I use. It's not here right now, but the squirrel in that deck says, believe in yourself. And I always think of that. Now anytime I see a squirrel, I hear, believe in yourself is what pings in my brain. But believe in yourself. And I do think that it's telling you that you're doing good work. And this is what they're telling their mom, possibly telling their mom who lives in Florida via phone or video chat, that but the universe is definitely telling you that what you're doing is making a difference. Again, sometimes you might not even know that it's making a difference. Someone might read your post and not comment or reply, but it's planting a seed. You see that the acorn, you're giving that seed to someone else, and that seed can grow into a beanstalk, right? That someone can scale. You're giving people the ladder to get to someplace better. And I think they're just telling you that, I think they're telling their mom that you feel apprehensive a lot of the time. Like you feel like whatever security that you do have can be taken away from you at any time. The other thing that I'm getting is I am getting a lot of pine cone and kind of green here. You see that? So I do sense growth. It might be slow growth, but they are telling you that, my mom always says, tough circumstances are just a wormhole to something better, like they're temporary. They also forge you. They make you a stronger person. I know it sucks, when you have a tight budget, or you might feel very uncomfortable where you are. Maybe you feel very closeted, where you don't have room to grow, and you're afraid that if you stretch out or try to do anything different, that what little that you have will be taken from you. But what they're saying is that both this person and the universe is saying, just let your angels protect you. The angels, you are protected, and you are free to give, and by giving, nothing's going to be taken away from you. Now, the last things that we got is you got simplicity, which I get this card a lot, and you got pleasure. So the thing that I saw was simplicity, and again, I think that you do live a simple life. I don't think that you have a lot of excess. And to be honest, I'll tell you, I think, have you ever been those persons who just doesn't, just like my friend with the golf pants, you're not the person who goes with the latest trends. You don't watch the social media hype. You probably look at those shows, and I kind of joke, and it's no fault. I enjoy the novelty shows are not bad. I'm not dissing them in any way. And if it's your thing, it's your thing. By all means. This is as a society how we share ideas is by watching what the affluent do. They're kind of like the kings and queens, right? They have money. They have, if you if you won the lottery tomorrow and was infinitely wealthy, what would you do? How would you, spend your disposable income, right? But I do think that because you've known frugality, because you've been in situations where you've been afraid of losing what you built, I think that you've earned what you have, and I think you value what you have, and you help others see the good in that mindset. And I think that sometimes if you do see, I don't think you watch those type of television shows, and if you do, you'd be like, gosh, I could probably live in that person's closet, just the closet space. I could put a kitchen sink there, and I could have one rack for my clothes, and I'd be good. So I do think that you live very simply, and I think the popular culture encourages you to live simply. Like you again, I do think that I'm getting a very environmental stent. I think that you try to only bring in what you need, and if anything that you don't need, more goes out. But I also am seeing that you are happy with that. You don't need $1 million. You don't need a house in the Hamptons. And I think that's part of the beauty of this, is that a lot of the purple is in the networker too. I think you show other people how how pleasurable it is to have less. I think you show them that simple living is actually, it's actually a Zen principle that when you have material things, you have to maintain material things, and that's a source of stress. But when you have just what you need and you don't have more, it's when you can show how beautiful that is, how sustainable that is, and how you. I think the stigma also is that, oh, okay, if you don't have every modern convenience in the world, then you're kind of this beggar, right? You're lack. But what you show people is, no, I'm wearing my plaid golf pants, and I make wonderful coffee at home by myself. And you see there's coffee in both of these things, right? Oh, cool. Look at that. Yeah. Humility, compassion, and self-esteem. So yes, I think you show people how proud you can be, and how, again, you don't have to, you know. One other thing I'm just going to put here too is that you see how her cloak has kind of a damask pattern on it. Sorry, creaky chair. Um, the advocate has that damask, and then look, the damask is around the person that's being healed. So I think you take your cloak off and you wrap it around other people, and you say, look, you're not, just because you have just enough to get by, that doesn't mean life is bad. Just because you can't jet set to, Bali, and you don't have three houses. All three houses is a lot of work. It would probably make you more miserable. And it's proven. It does say that, money doesn't make you happier. It takes away a lot of stress of things, but true happiness does come from simplicity, I think, and I think that you show people that. But all right, guys, so I know that was a super long one, and I always say, oh, this will be quick, and I'm so sorry, but I do hope that you enjoyed. I think each pile, we did have more piles, and I think everybody got equal time, which is what matters to me. But I hope you enjoyed, and if you are a mom, or if you have a mom in heaven, if you have someone who's like a mom, if you're gonna be a mom in the future, if you have fur babies, happy Mother's Day to you. Because there is someone somewhere that you are nurturing to at some point in your life. And, definitely, say happy Mother's Day to yourself, because you are a mom too. So I hope you have a good day, and much love to all the moms out there. And I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.